Welcome, everyone, to our inaugural episode of Our New Normal, exploring the generational realities of money, career, and life in Canada. Hi, Harry. How you doing?
Thank you, Jackie. It's great to be here.
We have talked about this for a very long time.
Absolutely, and there is so much differences between the generations, but they're yet so similar.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
always find something to talk about.
yeah. So it's great. It's great like that we have started this.
Yes. Everyone, Harry and I both teach in post-secondary, and we got to know each other at work many years ago, long before the pandemic, actually, right?
Yes, and we connected through our mutual love of hiking.
Hiking, yes.
Yeah.
I think you were being toured around to introduce everyone, and you saw my pictures on the wall.
Yes.
I think I
And
was planning to go to Africa at the time.
you had already
I had
went.
been?
Yeah, you have
Okay.
been to Africa and you had amazing pictures of Mount Kilimanjaro. And that was really motivational for me. And I'm like, I need to connect with Jackie.
Yeah, you came
Yeah.
back down the hall, actually, and said, "Can
Yeah.
I go hiking sometime?" And the
Sure.
rest is history.
Yeah.
Harry and I have worked together, but our families have also gotten quite close over the years, everyone. And what is so interesting, Harry, I'll never forget, is that there is at least 25 years between us,
Yes.
but we always had lots to talk about.
Yeah.
You
Like,
became my adopted son.
yeah. And you, like my, like godmother to my kids. So, yeah.
When you came to Calgary, too, when you first moved, you knew no one, right?
Yes.
You just got a full-time job at our school.
Yes.
And took the leap of faith and came from BC into Alberta and started
Yeah.
working full time with us.
No, means my journey is full of gratitude for people like you and many other Canadians who have helped me along the way. Like I came here in 2017 with just $20,000 in my pocket, right, with lots of dreams. Like every immigrant lands in our country with lots of dreams. And then it has been a journey full of gratitude, happiness, turmoil, right, struggles. But I'm glad where I am, right? I teach in a post-secondary, I do other things on the side, right? I have a great family, right? Financially, I'm independent. I have over $2 million of assets. So that has really set me up and given me time to pursue my dreams.
Yes, and I am a little bit on your heels there coming up. Not quite where you are, but with your guidance and your insight, I have completely shifted my view of money and investing and just the overall definition of wealth. And I think my son Benjamin has also reaped that from you. And so as a family, I'm just really grateful that we're connected like that, because I think I've learned a lot, not just through your acumen, your business acumen and financial acumen, Harry, but you give me another view of the world, and you help me redefine what a bad day is, and you are incredibly gracious when and forgiving as a friend. So I think those are the good reminders when we're having a bad day. And when I think about some of the things we've done, some of the things we've talked about, and some of the experiences you've been through, it is a really good reminder for me to check my perspective. And so I've always appreciated that as a colleague, but also a friend. Most importantly, as a friend and family member.
And same here, like I always say, you're my North Star. Like you
Yes,
help,
that's so
yeah,
sweet.
you help guide me. And you had an amazing career on your own too, like 30 years plus working in leadership, right? Guiding emerging leaders in School of Business. So you had an amazing career, like, and you are very well placed to talk about like how the new generations can take wisdom from your own experience. So like it's amazing to be with you.
Well, thank you. I've had a very interesting career and been thankful for all my experiences. And as I often tell many of our students, don't forget about the bad experiences or the less desirable, because it's actually probably where we learn the most. And I'm really thankful today for my long and winding road of a career, because I am so thankful that I have exposure to so many industries. And when we just look at the world today, I have a little bit of an opinion about a lot of different industries, but it makes me curious that I want to go in and learn more. And that's one thing that we both share, a deep love of learning, and we're both incredibly curious. Would you agree with that?
Yes, like knowledge is the like it's a great asset for anyone to have, and both of us are like lifelong learners, right? You have certainly been a learner for like past 50 years of your life, right? I don't have that big of a lifespan, but I love learning about new stuff, learning about new cultures, learning about intergenerational plays, right? So it's an amazing world. Like each day is a gift, right? So let's make most out of it.
Absolutely. For everyone's context too, I am a Generation X, born in 1966, so one of the first years out there, and grew up in the 70s with a lot of different influences. Now that I look back, raised by a single mother, who I realize now today faced a lot of hurdles in the 1960s and 70s, and fully raised in Canada, a proud Canadian. So the view that I have of the world is completely different, and went to a number of different schools, raised a little bit in Ontario in Canada, spent high school, primarily raised in the West, but spent some time in Ontario, and went to my first university there and did some university and graduate studies out here in Calgary and in BC. But that shapes how I see the world currently at the age of 59. But I have always appreciated yours and other generations' view because it gives me a sense of reality.
Absolutely. But one more thing people would like to know, that both of us are soccer fans and both of us are Team Canada. And Team Canada has certainly done well, both in men's as well as women's, especially women's in world soccer. So go Team Canada.
Yeah. Harry, what generation are you in?
So I'm 37-year-old, so I'm a millennial, right? So it's very different than being Gen X. So world was very different for me growing up, especially in the emerging markets and in India, and then working abroad in different countries. So I bring those experiences in. Since 2017, I have been in Canada. So I love this country. This is my home, and like I just want all of us to thrive and be better in our lives. Right?
What countries have you actually lived in?
So many. Like I started my life in India.
Yes.
Right. So I was born there, then brought up there, did a bit of education there, then moved around for work. Then I worked a little bit in Singapore, then Germany, UK, then New York, and then finally found my way to Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes. And how many languages do you speak?
So I speak little bit of German, right? I speak Hindi, then I speak Marathi, then I speak English, right? And because my boy is going to go to the Spanish school now, right? So I'm trying to learn Spanish.
Yes, I have a little bit of Spanish. So what's really interesting, I have one language that I'm functional in. I think I have grade 10 French and a little bit of Spanish since traveling as well. But I believe that's another difference. I think when you've had such a worldwide exposure, you not only have a different insight to different things economically and globally, but you just have these different experiences that bring you these different skills. So I always think it's interesting. I've only heard you speak a different language a few times at home with with Supriya or your kids. So that's interesting. I wanted to just sort of touch on for everybody the key goals of our new normal. So Harry and I have always had a love of technology. Harry has pulled me through. And so our podcast is an opportunity to share our passion for learning with everyone, and definitely to share information. We're in an interesting time where there is lots to understand, And being lifelong learners, we felt that the podcast and updating our own skills with the technology would be both fun to do, but also educational. And we wanted to be the calm in the storm. It's so interesting with the current trade war on and everything that we've seen. And
Absolutely, like because not only the trade war, so we have troubles brewing because of AI coming up, right?
Yes.
It's we can't say troubles, it's an opportunity too. So AI is there, automation is there, life has a different meaning now, right? For people who are especially Gen X and and the newer generations versus the older generation, there is going to be an intergenerational wealth transfer, the largest in
Yes.
our lifetime, like over trillions of dollars. So how is that going to shape us? Then we also have trade war, right? Because of what's happening down south, right? And it's not only south, like China has trade wars with us, right? US has it. Europe has a lot of boundaries where we can't trade with them. People would not know this, but we have inter-provincial trade barriers.
Yes, we do.
Right, so we do not trade with our own cousins, right, in BC or in Ontario, right? So there is change there. So it's a storm, but it is also an opportunity, because there is a great saying, never let a crisis goes to waste.
Yes, never let a crisis go to waste. The other interesting thing about the analogy of a storm, and this is a little bit of my change management background coming in, is during the eye of the storm is where the most innovation happens.
Absolutely.
Right? Necessity breeds innovation. So I think the opportunity is there for us to maybe facilitate some of that ideation or the opportunity to think differently. And with that, I think it's the intergenerational piece that can take hold here. We know in the workplace as well, we have 4 or 5 generations actually working alongside each other. So that intergenerational working is happening. And as we see the new retirement being defined today, people, maybe because of what's happening economically, they're not retiring like they did previously in generations. So I think one of our key goals here, everyone, is also to highlight the value of the intergenerational generations just learning together and having these conversations to gain these different perspectives and putting it in context of today's world.
Exactly, like it's just the teamwork, right? Team Canada needs a lot of teamwork from different generations to progress, like because there is a lot of wisdom in the older generations. They have, like, there is difference between information, knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom, you get it by living your life, right? Facing difficulties. Like you had the oil crisis in the 70s, you had the dot-com bubble burst, you had the the financial crisis in 08, right? The COVID pandemic. So the older generations have gone through many storms before us. So we can use that wisdom to guide younger generations. Younger generations have different outlook towards life. So maybe the older generations can learn from that. So it's an interplay, it's a teamwork, and Team Canada can benefit out of it, as well as each other. Like our lives can be enriched by getting insights from each other. That's what I feel.
Yes, absolutely. And I think our families, our children, our grandchildren, our neighbors will all benefit from having these conversations together. And so another, I think, real goal of ours is to make sure we celebrate those differences of ages, and being able to take in those different perspectives and wisdom, as you say, and also cultural backgrounds. You and I have very different cultural backgrounds, and it has also added a real dimension to my life to start to see things through different eyes. And many of our students as well that we work with every day, Harry, right, come from all over the world. So it's differences of so much, and gender identification today. And so differences, I think, need to be appreciated and celebrated, and hopefully our new normal will bring that out as well.
Yeah, like absolutely. Never stop talking to each other. Celebrate those differences, right? Differences helps us grow. So it's important to understand that not everyone in the world will think like you.
Yes, and so making sure that we keep conversations open and not being afraid to ask questions of each other,
Sure.
because we really are turning over those rocks, as I always say, and seeing what's there that we never thought possible.
Absolutely.
So our new normal, Harry, we'll get together, we'll look at how we are different and the same with views with money today, our economic realities, but also I'm really passionate, as you know, about careers and our working lives. But what's also most important is how all of this comes together so we can have the most fabulous life possible.
Sure. Like looking forward to the first one, right? So can you just give a sneak peek of what the first one is all about?
Yes, I think we'll do a deep dive in the new global disruptions. So we have seen so many things coming and going, and I started reflecting back on what I was thinking about the global sort of perspective in my 20s and in my 30s. And I have access to so much more information today than I did back then. I asked questions, but I would say I was in the dark, and today it's completely different. So I
Yeah.
think that'll be fun. Let's look at global disruptions.
Sure. Let's looking forward to the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and more to come.
More to come. See you guys in the next one.
Please join us every week. We'll see you here on our new normal.